everybody, and welcome to Hands Off Beverly. You know, Saturday, March 28, 2026, was anything but ordinary. A record 2,200 people flooded the streets for the third No Kings protest, as Hands Off Beverly returned to the front lines, where we've stood week after week for the past year. The message was loud and clear. A growing number of Americans are pushing back against the direction of the Trump administration. Please enjoy these powerful speeches by community leaders and political powerhouses.
Hello, patriots! Thanks for coming to Odell Veterans Memorial Park, the same park where a small group of us showed up every Saturday, week after week, in the cold and the rain, because we refuse to be silent. Today we join millions of Americans across this country who are standing up and saying clearly, we believe in democracy. Welcome to the Hands Off Beverly No Kings rally. I am so proud to be standing here with all of you today. None of this happens without people. Bear with me, I want to thank a few. Rob and Steve Murray of Studio 2 and Sound Around Productions. They're Boston's premier Beatles tribute band who donated their equipment and their time for this incredible sound system. Give them a round, come on. Our amazing DJ and resolute DJ, Jim Lovett. The Beverly Police Department and the mayor for helping us get through all the red tape to make this day possible. And of course, the driving force behind everything you see here, Andreas Bauermeister. Andreas deserves more than that. Let's go. To every volunteer, every organizer, every person who showed up in the cold and the rain, thank you for the part you play in the fight to save democracy. Before we start with our speakers, I want to let everyone know about 3 restaurants in the area. Sala Restabar, right over there. The Castle, right over here. And Backbeat Brewery, right over here behind you. They are wonderful. Go to have lunch after. We have some extraordinary leaders joining us today, leaders who share our values and our urgency. Our first speaker is someone who has spent a career defending the people. He is renowned for his pioneering work in the Woburn water contamination case that was chronicled in the national best-selling book and film Civil Action, starring John Travolta as Mr. Schlichtmann. But I gotta say, I think Mr. Schlichtmann is better looking. He's known across Massachusetts and across this country as one of the great legal minds of our time. But what you may not know, unless you've been here standing next to him every week, he's also one of us. He stands up here every week because he knows, he understands that democracy isn't just defended in courtrooms, it's defended right here by people like you. Please join me in welcome Attorney Jan Schlichtmann.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, welcome, fellow citizens, we the people. Why are we here? I'll tell you why I'm here. I'm here because I got a call from Susan Tropiano. And Susan's here because she got a call from Andreas Baumeister. And Andreas is here because he got a call from Julie Lowe, who said you got to be here so somebody else will be here other than me. It always starts that way, with one. And one becomes few. And a few becomes many. And now today, many, many more than ever before. And because we are here, tomorrow, many more. We are here despite our doubts, despite our fears, our sense of hopelessness that nothing's going to change. But because we are here, things will change. Things will change if the people want them to change. Do you want them to change, people? I've been a lawyer for 5 decades. I have tried to represent people, including myself, who found themselves under power's boot. And I have to tell you, I learned something from that experience. I learned how important words are. And I learned how important it is for us to remember and know the history behind the words that we use. 250 years ago, in a spot near here, a former merchantman, John Glover, now a colonel in the People's Army, summoned by Washington, he read from a document. He read the words penned by Thomas Jefferson, words that the historian Joseph Ellis said are America's sacred creed. The words that Martin Luther King said constitute America's promissory note. Consequential, important words that changed the people's thinking. You see, because people gathered then, as we are gathered now, they gathered to hear a revolutionary notion that we, all of us, are created equal. We are endowed with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And as importantly, we heard the words, the important revolutionary words, that governments derive their just powers from the consent of the people. What does that mean? That means we, the people, we have the last say as to whether our government is destructive of those ends and needs to change. Now let us remember, it was 8 terrible years and 5 more of a confused and chaotic peace before the people gained a consensus. And as a result of that, they formed a 52-word preamble that made another declaration. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States for the United States of America. And in that preamble, they identified the 4 pillars that are essential for self-rule. 1, we have to establish justice. 2, we have to ensure domestic tranquility. 3, we have to promote the general welfare. And 4, we must provide for the common defense. Now here we are, 250 years later, 250 bittersweet and often blood-soaked years later. And we are here, as in Lincoln's words, because we are now engaged in a testing. Whether any nation so conceived in liberty, dedicated to the proposition that all are created equal, can long endure. We are here to meet Martin Luther King's challenge, that the challenge of how to make the promise real with the fierce urgency of now. That is our challenge, that is our test. So to honor those words, to honor that history, let us as a people, just for a moment, revisit the 4 pillars and see if we can agree on a few things. So let's start with justice. Can we agree that justice should be established for all and not for some? Can we agree on that, people? Good start. Now how about ensuring domestic tranquility? There's a few things here I'd like us to agree, see if we can agree on. Number 1, can we as a people recognize that we must welcome and provide the process that is due those who are coming here to seeking a better life?
Yes!
Yes. Can we not as a people welcome them in the worms of Emma Lazarus, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free?
Yes!
Can we as a people remember it's their dreams, their hopes, their aspirations, which from the beginning and now and forever will be the source of our nation's greatness? Can we remember that, people? Can we remember, people, and put into practice that our diversity is our strength? Can we, the people, remember and act on the notion that if we are to secure the blessings of liberty, then we must include every one of us in the economic, social, and political life of our nation. Inclusion of all enriches all. Exclusion of any diminishes us all. And can we, as a people, remember, if we want civil order, then we as a people must ensure that not one of us who exercises their fundamental rights is gunned down in the street by mass goons on the government's payroll. No! Can we as a people agree that every one of the individuals and the government officials responsible for the heinous murder of Renee Good and Alex Preddy must be held to account? Can we agree on that? Now, regarding the promotion of the general welfare, can we agree as a people that the fundamental right of health care must not be taken from the people to subsidize the wealthy? Can we agree on that? Can we agree that the fundamental right to health care is not some little chip, some bargaining chip that can be discarded so the rich get richer? And while we're talking about fairness, please, people, remember, it is time that we as a people recognize and address that since 1980, through successive administrations, up until now, in a big, ugly way, the tax system has been engineered to affect the transfer of the wealth of the many to the undeserving few. And that is wrong. A few, artificially inflated, unintelligent, morally confused, spouting megalomaniacal nothings, justifying what? The taking of our land, the taking of our air, the taking of our water, the taking of our energy, the taking of our creativity, the taking of our freedom of thought, the taking of our privacy, and the taking of our livelihoods. Can we agree that is wrong? Can we agree as a people that it is time to end this multi-trillion-dollar theft of the people, their heritage, and their future? For the unremitting avarice of a few. Can we agree? And finally, about the common defense. Can we agree, all of us, of course, will always be there for our common defense, for ourselves, for our allies, for all the freedom, liberty-loving nations of the world. We will be there for them. We will be there for ourselves, for all of our sakes. But no, we, the people, will not wage war based Can we agree as a people we will not wage war like we are presently doing on the whim of one sick old man? Can we agree that this war is immoral, unjustified, and illegal by any standard by which war should be judged? We can agree on that. And can we agree that this God-forsaken war should end, and end now, not in 2 weeks, now. End the war now. Can we agree on that? And let me end with this. I believe if we dedicate ourselves to the principles that we have discussed today and agreed on, I believe we will not only secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and for all those who come after. More than that, in the words of Martin Luther King, we will rise up, we will live out and realize the dream of the promise that was made declared 250 years ago. And I believe in that way, we as a people will come together in common moral purpose and finally help the world and all of its people to help the world to live on and with this earth together. We the people! We can do this! Yes, we can!
He's tall. I tell you, the taller the attorney, the better the attorney. Sorry to the short attorneys. Thank you so much, Jan. Our next speaker doesn't just represent this community from Beacon Hill. She stands with us right here every single week. Please give a huge hands-off Beverly welcome to State Representative Hannah Bowen.
Thank you. Thank you to Jan for reminding us of our history and describing a present and a future that we can be proud of. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today and to see the line going down the street. I want to first thank Jan and Julie and Andreas and Sue and Matt and Bill and Diana and Jim and all of our marshals, everyone who's out here every week, everyone, including my mom who brings extra signs, the artist in the family, everyone who has stopped on their way to coffee one morning and come back the next week with friends. Thank you all for making this what it is. We heard thanks already, but I'm going to add them again to our local businesses, to our neighbors like me on Rantoul Street, to our US postal workers, to our Beverly Police Department and Parks and Rec, to everyone who makes this possible. So I'm Hannah Bowen, and I have the honor of representing Beverly and Wenham up at the State House. And like a lot of you, I look around at what's happening in our country and I feel a lot of anger, deep, deep rage. I feel sadness, I feel fear at times, and that is not what I want our government to be making decisions based on. I do not want a government that is leading out of fear, out of anger, out of hate. And so I come here every Saturday and I look to you to give me back the confidence and the kindness and the generosity and the creativity that I need to bring with me on that train into Boston and up to Beacon Hill. So I cannot thank you enough for coming with me and giving me that strength and that confidence and that kindness that we need in our government. I've seen you all build community. I've seen you bring ideas and concrete actions to each other and take them away from this space and go out and do things that make Beverly and our Commonwealth and our country better. I've seen you make new friends along the way. I've seen you deepen our resilience as a community week after week. And I've seen you do what Toni Cade Bambara said was her role as an artist in the face of injustice. You have made the revolution irresistible. And when we come here, we make space for each other on the sidewalk, we lift each other up, and we remind each other, thanks to our DJ, to dance when we don't know what else to do. And there will be a lot of that for the next couple of hours here today. So I want to just share two things that happened this week, if I can turn my page. One concrete action and one piece of art that both really inspired me, and I hope you can take away today. So on Wednesday, I had the opportunity to take my proudest vote yet in supporting the PROTECT Act. Many of you reached out to me about this bill. It's something that the Black and Latino Legislative Caucus at the State House really pushed for and that I was proud to support along with all of you, because it takes concrete actions to say, as a state, we are doubling down on and deepening our access to justice, our access to due process, our ability to look out for each other. And we got that done this week in the House. It's moving on to the Senate now because of all of you. So thank you for that. That concrete action that we are taking, it makes a difference. It's because you're here. And after taking that vote, I was able to walk over across the Boston Common to a theater with a group of women legislators to watch a performance of Suffs. If you haven't seen it, I know some people in the crowd have, I can hear it. It's a beautiful show, and it describes that I am a woman legislator now at the State House, able to go and see that history with colleagues who are living it. And in the play, the women are preparing for their massive march on Washington, and they have the same doubts that we all have, the same fears, the same anger. They're not sure if they'll succeed, and they sing these really beautiful words that I really needed to hear on Wednesday, and that I hope leave you with something today. And don't worry, I'm gonna read them, not sing them. My mom is also the singer in the family. If the work is never over, then how do you keep marching anyway? Do you carry your banner as far as you can, rewriting the world with your imperfect pen, till the next stubborn girl picks it up in a picket line over and over again? And you join in the chorus of centuries, chanting to her, "The path will be twisted and risky and slow, but keep marching, keep marching." Will you fail or prevail? Well, you may never know, but keep marching, keep marching. 'Cause your ancestors are all the proof you need that progress is possible, not guaranteed. It will only be made if we keep marching on.
Yay!
To do that work. So thank you all for being here every Saturday, every Wednesday, and being part of this beautiful community. We have this.
Thank you.
Oh no, she's my good height. All right, that's good. Thank you, Representative Bowen. Our next speaker has served the people of Essex County with distinction in the Massachusetts State Senate. She is a respected voice for this region and a leader who understands that what happens in our State House matters just as much as what happens in Washington. Please welcome State Senator Joan Lovely.
Thank you.
We're good. What an amazing crowd. I'm so proud to be here today to stand with all of you as we demand justice and equal rights across this country, so beautifully put by Jan Schlichtmann. I want to say thank you to all the organizers, and I want to say congratulations, Hands Off Beverly, because you just celebrated 1 year of being here every week. And you received kudos, a wonderful acknowledgement from the Greater Beverly Chamber of Commerce for your Civic Pride Award. So well deserved. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Jan Schlichtmann. I've known Jan for quite some time. He has been an absolute champion, 5 decades as an attorney, and he has used his education and his experience to represent so many communities, including this community of Beverly with the Varian cleanup, and that will be cleaned up in short order. It's been 5 years, and Jan and Representative Bowen have been at every single meeting for 5 years to clean up our own toxic waste site right here in Beverly. Thank you, Jan, and thank you, Representative. Thank you, the City of Beverly. I want to tell you that I hear this so often. People are depressed. anxious, angry. And a follow-up to that is what people say is, I'm so glad I live in Massachusetts. Absolutely. We are the leader. We are the leader in reproductive care and gender-affirming care. Do you know, and I'm sure many of you have seen this, that there are many people coming from other states to receive their reproductive care right here in Massachusetts because we are a leader. I also want to bring up the Epstein files. This is particular to me. I am a survivor of child sexual abuse, and I think it is just absolutely criminal that the Epstein files have been protected and that our president is part of that. He needs to be impeached on that one alone. That's the number one issue for me at the State House, to protect children across Massachusetts, and let's continue to protect children across our country and across our world. So I just want to say thank you again. You lift our spirits. You're here every week, here across the North Shore, across Massachusetts, and across this country, and across this world. There are people, there are other countries standing with us, fighting for us. They know what's happening here in this country, that Congress, Republicans in Congress don't have a spine, they don't have a backbone to stand up and do what is right for this country. So thank you again. Now time for them to do their job. That's right. Time for them to do their job. So thank you. I'm again honored to represent you in the Massachusetts Senate. The Senate will be taking up the PROTECT Act in the next couple of weeks. I look forward to voting in favor of that and in favor to stand up for democracy, and let's stick together. We're gonna get through this if we stick together. Thank you so much. Hands off, Beverly.
Thank you, Senator Lovely. That was lovely. All right. Everybody nice and warm? All right, well, let's get fired up. For decades, our final speaker has been a fierce and tireless defender of the people, clean air, clean water, working families, civil rights, and yes, democracy itself. He has never wavered, and he is here today because he knows that this community never wavers either. Please welcome United States Senator Ed Markey.
Thank you, Beverly. So, 250 years ago, the No Kings movement started right here. And the people of Beverly, the people of Lexington, of Concord, of Massachusetts stood up to a dictator who wanted to impose upon the people of Massachusetts his sense of what the rule of law meant. And the people of Massachusetts, of Beverly, rose up and they said, no king. And that is what today represents, because Donald Trump, every single day that he is in the Oval Office, is a walking, talking constitutional crisis. And the people are rising up, and they are rising up because we know that we cannot have armed mass thugs who are roaming the streets of our country, just on a daily basis undermining the constitutional rights of Americans. It is imperative that we defund ICE, that we abolish ICE. We cannot allow Donald Trump to have his own personal army on the streets of our country. And when Donald Trump says that he is going to continue his efforts to undermine the programs which benefit every American, a $1 trillion cut to Medicaid, a $500 billion cut to Medicare, a $300 billion cut to the Affordable Care Act, dismantling the Department of Education, turning the EPA into every polluter's ally. Well, he says he's not going away. We have a message to him. We're not going away. We are going to stand and we are going to fight. When Donald Trump says that he is going to continue his illegal, unconstitutional war in Iran without any approval of the American people, we have a message to him. We are not going away until the war in Iran is ended, and ended soon. The price of oil in the Middle East is the price of oil on the streets of Beverly. The price of gasoline has gone up $1 in 1 month. The war is being fought in the Middle East. The price is being paid here in America. Higher gasoline prices, higher food prices, higher health care prices, higher taxes to pay for that war. And we are going to stand up and we are going to fight him every single step of the way, because Donald Trump wants to fight a war for MAGA supporters that is completely contrary to what it is that the American people, beginning right here in Beverly, fought to create 250 years ago. So today we are celebrating. Today we still celebrate Kristi Noem Got Fired Day. And it must be followed by Pete Hegseth Got Fired Day. And it must be followed by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Got Fired Day. It is absolutely imperative that we stand up and we fight. And as Trump sinks in the polls, he then says that he may nationalize the elections. He says that he may invoke the Insurrection Act that allows him to nationalize the Army and the National Guard and the Marines in order to have them at the polling places. He put ICE at airports, and Steve Bannon says that's good practice for the elections this fall, where we could put ICE at the ballot boxes across our country. And that is why for the last 2 weeks we have had a battle on the floor of the United States Senate, because Trump wants to pass his SAVE Act. And the SAVE Act is nothing more than an attempt to suppress the votes of married women who no longer have their maiden name, of minorities, of transgender voters. That the goal is to suppress the vote. That's his goal. It's not the SAVE Act, it's the Save Their Asses Act, because that we are coming for them this November at the polls. And we are going to stand, and we are going to fight, and we are going to win. So thank you, Beverly. Thank you for leading on the No Kings movement. Let us go out there and show them what democracy looks like. It begins right here in the Bay State. Thank you all so much. Thank you for everything that you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you to all our extraordinary speakers today, and thank you all for being here, for showing up today and every week before this, for refusing to look away and proving that Massachusetts democracy has a home. 2 lines, buddy. The people in power are counting on us to get tired, to give up, to go home and stay quiet. Today we show them, not here, not us. We will not be silent because democracy dies in silence. Thank you so much, everybody.
Hey, don't forget our weekly protests on Wednesdays from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at 225 Cabot Street and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Odell Veterans Memorial Park at 158 Rantoul Street. And we would love to see you there.